What manga have you been reading as we found ourselves with a little more time in our hands than normal? Did you jump into a long epic series that you've been putting off, or those short volume series you can finish off in one go? Or have you just been rereading some of your favorite series on your shelves? Hello everyone, I'm Zath and welcome back to my channel for another Manga Haul video. To answer some of those questions for myself, I've been hoping to start a few new series as I wrap up others that I've been collecting. Unfortunately, with shipping the way it is, I've been a little delayed in my ventures. Even though I was disappointed not to have certain titles this month, the delay did allow me to dive heavily into a series I had let slip from my hauls. So now, without further ado, let's get to it. Starting us off for this haul is Prince Freya Volume 1, a brand new Shoujo Beat series that started this month. I've been looking forward to reading this title since it was first announced last year. And this title is actually from the same author that did The Heiress and the Chauffeur, which I have previously reviewed on my channel. Really liked that. I am also a hardcore fan of the disguise trope, so Volume 1 of Prince Freya really did not disappoint. The story starts us off in the middle of a conflict between two countries. A girl named Freya, who is known for crying at every little thing, is living in a small town that the enemy is advancing towards. Her childhood friends are knights of the kingdom, and one day she overhears a plan to attack her friends and her kingdom, so she heads toward the palace. There she finds the prince of her kingdom who's dying, and he begs her to stand in for him so the people of his kingdom think that he's still alive. And they bear a striking resemblance toward one another, which we don't know quite yet in this first volume as to why. This volume has a lot of violence in it for a shoujo title. I didn't expect things to happen so quickly in this series, but I really enjoyed it overall. And while Freya isn't the typical heroine I enjoy personally, I'm hoping for significant character growth throughout the series. There were glimpses in this first volume of Freya standing up when she's scared and wants to cry, but she believes in something, so she continues and pushes forward. So I really hope that we see more of those down the line, but a definite strong start to a series, and I'm looking forward to reading the next volume. Next up is An Incurable Case of Love, Volume 3. Another volume in the series. I'm still not full on board with the series. It's entertaining, but not my favorite. I keep reading it because, it's more josei and with adults as main characters than anything, but I think there are much better series out there that are worth your time. Still, not the worst thing I've read. It's here, it keeps your attention for the duration of the volume, but that's about it. And, I like the color of the covers, so there's that. But, I'm not too sure about this just yet. A series that is 100% worth your time, though, is Takane and Hana. This month I picked up Volume 14, and first off, I absolutely love the color of this cover. It just, I don't know, I think it's one of my favorite colors there. Also, the cover depicts, good carefree summer, which really belies what's actually in the volume. But yeah, you have to read more to get that. But another great volume. But yeah, I really love the colors of the spines for this series. But yeah, it's great. I have a blast with that. I know it's going to be wrapping up here shortly, but definitely a great series. So I'm looking forward to continuing that until it's finished. After that, it's Still Stick Volume 2. I'm going to be dropping this series. The second volume didn't add anything interesting to the plot or characters overall, and to be frank, even the dialogue is really strange at some times. The volume did end at a cliffhanger, but if you could call it that, lining up maybe for next volume, but I don't think I'll be picking up any more of the series. I'm just not enjoying it. Did you know the author of Black Clover, Yuki Tabata, was actually a student of Toshiaki Iwashiro of Psyren? I thought that was a neat little fact that I wanted to share. And speaking of Black Clover, I went heavily into my backlog this month and picked up Volumes 4, Volume 5, Volume 6, Volume 7, Volume 8, Volume 9, Volume 10, Volume 11, Volume 12, Volume 13, and Volume 14. I can't for the life of me remember why I stopped collecting this series. I enjoyed the first 3 volumes, but I just let it slip from my hauls. But this month I decided to rectify that, and am I ever glad I continued. The action scenes of these volumes are amazing. The pacing and the blend of seriousness and humor made these super enjoyable to read. And while Asta isn't my favorite type of main character, I'm enjoying his growth so far. But it's really the side characters that make this series really stand out to me. In particular, in Volume 6, Captain Yami has this super cool fight, and I've always really liked his character design, but yeah, in this volume it was really nice to see him kind of take an action role, because you don't always get to see the mentor slash boss figure let loose, and it was super cool. The same thing for Gouch, however you say it, who is introduced as a guy with a sister complex, and we actually get to see a glimpse of why he's so ready to write everyone else off but his sister, and maybe even a hint of a bigger plot for down the road. But either way, all these side characters, they have their own, story and depth to them. Even Finral and Vanessa, who we've only really seen in the background goofing off, had great transforming moments. Definitely love in Volume 14, man. There's so much stuff that happened in this volume, and I definitely love it. Either way, I am 100% back on board with the series, and I'll do my best to try to catch up to the current volumes. Next up is the complete box set of Dragon Ball. I have never read Dragon Ball. As some of you know, I entered the Dragon Ball universe actually with Z, and never felt the need to go back and read Dragon Ball. Mostly because there's 100% less Vegeta. But I decided to pick up this box set because I wanted to show support for these Viz box sets, and I feel guilty that Z and Super are the only Dragon Balls in my collection, and the original wasn't. So this box set does contain volumes 1 through 16. I really do like the bright red spines, and of course the spine art. I wish more series definitely would do that. I haven't read any of these volumes yet, but I am curious to see if younger Goku can hold my attention. And the last title of this haul is Psyren, Volume 15 and Volume 16. The end has come. This series was a heck of a ride, and overall, I still think Psyren isn't given the attention it deserves. That being said, now with every volume under my belt, I can see why some people said the ending is the weakest part of the series, and I have to agree with the statement. Now, before you go off marking this series as unreadable, let me take a few steps back and explain. The series as a whole has been great. Everything you want in a shonen series, Psyren can provide you and then some. The battle scenes, the action, the art, it all holds up. We're painted an intricate story, and at least for me, going into Volume 15, I wasn't sure how it was going to be resolved. The intensity of the plot, the desperations of its characters, was all on par and beyond even some current ongoing shonen series. However, the ending of the series took a step backwards. It felt as though the author needed to wrap up the series before he knew exactly how he wanted to end it. Or maybe he felt he couldn't end it on his terms, so he decided to cop out. Either way, it had a different feel than the rest of the series. And yes, there is resolution, but it comes suddenly and fast, almost as if rushing its readers out the door. Endings to a series can be difficult. You don't have to look very far to see examples of several series that failed to wrap up the way fans were expecting or even wanting. Sometimes a story is about the journey and not its conclusion. And I've enjoyed my time with Psyren. I'm glad to have it completed and on my shelves. And when I'm asked for recommendations on shonen titles, I'll still recommend this series for fans of the genre. Because Psyren, it is a good series. And it definitely deserves to be read. And that's gonna do it for my April and May haul. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you have any recommendations for new series that I should try out, let me know in the comments below. I'm Zath. Have a good day.